Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire, where we still continue to track the storm system right now. We're looking at some strong, gusty southwesterly winds, rather mild conditions around Boston. We're looking at some rainfall. The temperature's over 40 degrees. The storm system itself passing right over New York City. Down into the heart of Dixie, we're looking at some diminishing winds. That was not the case just some 24 hours ago. We can show you what's happening around Atlanta, Georgia, right outside the studios of the Weather Channel. And you can see we were looking at horrendous traveling conditions. They continue this morning. It's going to be a couple of days before we see anything developing as far as better driving conditions in the deep south, because it's going to remain very chilly. Highs in the 30s, but they'll drop well below freezing tonight into the single numbers and lower teens in some locations. Here's a look at New York City. They saw up to 10 inches of snowfall right through early yesterday afternoon. Then they saw a couple of inches of sleet. Now everything seems to have calmed down for the time being, because the storm system itself is passing right overhead of New York City right now, almost like the calm in the storm, almost like a very intense hurricane right here, traveling northward. So the eye of the storm passing right overhead right now, but don't let that fool you, because once the storm passes off towards the northeast, whipping around on the backside of this area of low pressure will be strong, gusty west and northwesterly winds. You're back to more light snow showers, and of course blowing and drifting of snow. The temperature in New York City is really going to begin to bottom out by late morning and throughout the afternoon hours. Could be looking at some wind chills again, 20 to 50 degrees below zero. And winds around New York City and Philadelphia, Atlantic City and Providence by late morning into this afternoon. They're going to be picking up, and at times gusting better than 50 to 60 miles per hour. It's going to be a real mess here. We'll show you what's been happening as far as some of the snowfall amounts. First of all, we'll show you what happened well into the heart of Dixie. Chattanooga, Tennessee, 21 inches of snowfall. Asheville, North Carolina, just crushed by looking at up to 20 inches of snowfall there as well. On the northwest side of Atlanta, Georgia, around Marietta, 9 inches of snowfall. Montgomery, Alabama, 4. Mobile, Alabama, on the coastline, they also saw 2 inches of snowfall. And this is what's been happening during the last 24 hours. Of course, everything shifted on towards the north. Now, Syracuse, New York is up to 28 inches of snowfall, still coming down at the rate of an inch per hour here. They're looking at some big sign stuff here. Pittsburgh right now, the snow really beginning to lessen up, but still considerably blowing and drifting the snowfall. Officially now in Pittsburgh from this storm, 2 feet of snow. Boston, 13 inches, but you're raining right now in Boston. The temperature's above 40 degrees, strong southwesterly winds. But don't let that fool you either, because you'll be looking at stronger westerly winds coming back into the picture this afternoon. The rain goes back to at least some light to moderate snow showers at times, and the temperature will begin to drop off. Philadelphia, officially, 11 inches of snow is on the ground from this storm. What's going to be happening with the storm system itself? You can see our forecast right now calls for the heavier snowfall beginning to move into parts of Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire. Looks like things will begin to lessen up somewhat over upstate New York around Syracuse and Watertown, which are looking at some very hefty snowfall amounts right now. But still considerably blowing and drifting of the brand new snowfall will continue here right up into Maine, at least until early morning tomorrow. So wintry travel continues to be very, very rough all the way from, let's say, northern Georgia on northward. Again, we're looking at some rough roadways across northern Georgia and Alabama. It should begin to lessen somewhat during the next 24 hours, but probably not today around Atlanta and northward. And you can see the windier weather redeveloping now across the eastern Carolinas on northward. Watch out New York City and also Boston in much of the northeastern corridor for damaging winds this afternoon. Wintry traveling conditions will continue throughout this part of the country right through Sunday and Sunday night. Nothing's really going to get any better there anytime soon. We're going to show you some clouds briefly and show you our massive storm system, the center of the area low pressure right now, right around New York City, located right here and beginning to move on northward. That's why Boston's looking at the warmer weather and southwesterly winds, but things will be turning dramatically different this afternoon. Much colder weather and much windier weather too.
If you love garden fresh vegetables and beautiful flowers and want to have great gardens of your own, get ready to take down this important telephone number, because I want to send you this great gardens catalog, including details on the legendary Troy-Bilt tiller, absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how to get your own great garden started right with a perfect Troy-Bilt seed bed. how to build your own super-rich organic soil, and take the work out of weeding all season long. Plus, we'll include dozens of Troy-Bilt gardening secrets like how to double your harvest with Troy-Bilt wide rows, how to guarantee great tomatoes every time, and we'll even show you how to build the perfect perennial bed. So for complete details on our whole lineup of legendary Troy-Bilt garden tillers, call today.
For free details on our whole line of Troy-Bilt tillers, including complete information on how you can own a new Troy-Bilt tiller free till fall, call toll-free 1-800-441-3434. That's 1-800-441-3434. Call now.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Current regional conditions. Special regional information. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Long-range outlook. The regional forecast. The extended forecast. Local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Now on video, 45 minutes of fast tornado action, plus the 1993 tornado calendar, just $19.95. Call 1-800-525-6600.
Homeowners, stop struggling with yard waste cleanup chores this spring and endless leaf cleanup next fall. Call toll-free to find out how the amazing Troy-Bilt chipperback can turn hard-to-handle brush, branches, even matted leaves, pine needles, and twigs into easy-to-handle wood chips and mulch as you walk. The secret is a self-propelled vacuuming shredder and an optional hose vacuum combined with a powerful auto-feed chipper that handles big branches right on the spot. Plus, yard wastes are reduced and bagged automatically, turning hard-to-handle yard waste into compacted wood chips and mulch for easy disposal, or use as free landscape mulch. So don't struggle with yard waste cleanup this spring and endless leaf cleanup next fall. Call today for your free catalog on the revolutionary Troy-Bilt chipperback. For free details on the breakthrough Troy-Bilt chipperback, including complete information on how you can own a new Troy-Bilt chipperback free till fall, call toll-free 1-800-342-1818. That's 1-800-342-1818. Call now.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Forecast for cities nationwide. the current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Homeowners, stop struggling with yard waste cleanup chores this spring and endless leaf cleanup next fall. Call toll-free to find out how the amazing Troy-Bilt chipperback can turn hard-to-handle brush, branches, even matted leaves, pine needles, and twigs into easy-to-handle wood chips and mulch as you walk. The secret is a self-propelled vacuuming shredder and an optional hose vacuum combined with a powerful auto-feed chipper that handles big branches right on the spot. Plus, yard wastes are reduced and bagged automatically, turning hard-to-handle yard waste into compacted wood chips and mulch for easy disposal or use as free landscape mulch. So don't struggle with yard waste cleanup this spring and endless leaf cleanup next fall. Call today for your free catalog on the revolutionary Troy-Bilt chipperback. For free details on the breakthrough Troy-Bilt chipperback, including complete information on how you can own a new Troy-Bilt chipperback free till fall, call toll-free 1-800-342-1818. That's 1-800-342-1818. Call now.
If you've heard me talking about training for a new career through ICS before and wondered just how home study works, well, here's what happens. Once you enroll in one of these courses, you'll receive a series of training shipments like these. Inside, there are hands-on projects for you to complete. They're fun, and you go step by step. Plus, you get all the equipment and supplies you need. As you finish each project, the next one is mailed to you until you've finished your course and received your diploma or degree. Call now to get your personalized career pack on the course you're most interested in. Choose from high school, TV, VCR repair, computer programming, electrician, animal care specialist, auto mechanics, bookkeeping, legal assistant, interior decorating, drafting, hotel restaurant management, learning the personal computer, electronics, or get your degree. You can major in business management or accounting.
Call now for the free information Sally Struthers spoke about. Then decide if you want to train at home for a better career to make more money. Call 1-800-821-2100. There is absolutely no obligation. That's 1-800-821-2100.
Tracking our very intense storm system, which is located right around New York City at the present hour, and some extremely heavy snowfall is still coming down, especially on the north and western side of the storm system, like around Syracuse, New York. Another 2 inches of snowfall during the last hour. They now have 30 inches from this storm. They have a north wind at 40 miles per hour. Not much better is happening off towards the west either, as far west as Buffalo. It looks like Albany and Syracuse are now getting the worst of the storm system. We can show you on radar what is happening with this storm, and we can show you that again. We're looking at a great deal of swirling motion going on with the radar echoes up here. That's a very intense storm system beginning to track its way northward. We'll zoom right into the northeastern part of the nation and show you what's happening. Again, it looks like eastern New York State really getting the brunt of the heaviest snowfall right now. Beginning to dramatically pick up is the snowfall rate over much of Vermont, New Hampshire. You have much of southern Maine as well. Boston, Massachusetts, some light rainfall, a strong southwesterly wind, and you're looking at the temperature now above 40 degrees, but it looks like more snow on the way for much of New York.
Call the Weather Channel Connection, 1-900-WEATHER, before you hit the road, and you'll be prepared for any weather Old Man Winter brings.
Authentic Italian and continental cuisine at its best. That's what you'll find at Gilberto's. Choose from our extensive menu or one of our daily chef's specialties. All of our meals come complete with a relish tray, hot bread, salad, intermezzo sorbet, entree, vegetable and potato or pasta. And to complement your meal, let us suggest something from our extensive wine list. Come to Gilberto's, Route 94 in Hardiston. Your palate will thank you.
You can go anywhere and buy a used car. Or you can come to Saturn of Route 23 for hardly used cars and trucks. Saturn of Route 23 searches the eastern seaboard and selects only the most popular late-model cars and trucks. They must all meet our high standards for quality and performance. And since Saturn of Route 23 deals in volume, you'll be amazed at the affordable prices on hardly used cars and trucks at Saturn of Route 23 in Pompton Plains.
You're watching the Weather Channel for accurate forecasts at your convenience. Weather you can always turn to. Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Current regional conditions. special regional information. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Your region's long-range outlook. The regional forecast. The extended forecast. Your local radar, showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. Of all the important things you need for an exciting, successful trip to the slopes this winter, this may be the most important of all. Tune to the Weather Channel at 8 minutes past every hour for the skier's forecast. Get up-to-the-minute ski information from major resorts as well as conditions for slopes near you. Get late-breaking weather affecting ski areas with next-day regional and national outlooks. The skier's forecast, hourly all season long, only on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to.
Once again, we'll take a look at our winter storm update. Here's a look at our latest radar, which is developing over much of New England, and we'll show you our deep storm system, which is still located right now around New York City. We'll zoom right into this part of the nation right now, and we're still going to show you some very intense snowfall rates, which are still coming down over eastern New York and upstate New York as well. The storm system located right around New York City. Basically calm are the conditions around New York right now, but damaging westerly winds are coming back into the picture this afternoon. Do be aware of that. The same thing for Boston and Providence. You're not out of the woods yet, even though things are looking a little better right now. It's raining in Boston. The temperature's above 40 degrees there with a strong southerly wind, but that'll all be changing this afternoon. We'll show you the big picture once again, our very deep storm system now for much of New England, which will continue throughout much of the daytime hours of today and slowly wind down late tonight. Still very cold across most of the eastern part of the country in the wake of this very intense storm. The temperature now in Nashville, Tennessee is down to 21. Atlanta is down to 20. Look at Montgomery, Alabama, also down to 20. A very chilly 40 degrees in Daytona Beach, Florida, down to 50 in Miami. And look at some of these wind chills. The wind chill in Miami, 38 degrees, down to -6 in Atlanta, -27 is the wind chill in Pittsburgh, where the snow's beginning to let up right now. But Syracuse, New York, another 2 inches of snowfall during the last hour. It is really coming down at a torrid pace there. We'll show you some of the snowfall amounts which have been occurring across the area, all the way from the heart of Dixie, like around Chattanooga. 21 inches of snowfall. Asheville, North Carolina, 19. It's going to take several days for this stuff to melt, even in the far southeast with a bright March sun. It's going to be very, very chilly today. And around Syracuse, New York, they've picked up a couple of inches of new snowfall, and they're now up to 30 inches of snowfall from this storm. Pittsburgh, 24, beginning to let up. And of course, we can see the snowfall around Philadelphia at 11. Exactly what is happening with this storm as we look across the eastern part of the nation, we can check on some of these scenes now coming out of Roanoke. They saw some hefty snowfall amounts as well. Roanoke, Virginia, about a foot of snowfall on the ground there. It's all beginning to pull on towards the north. Things are beginning to lessen up right now. And looking at our snowfall forecast, so we could look at yet another foot over much of upstate Maine.
Do you suffer from morning stiffness or aches, snoring, restless sleep? You deserve a better night's sleep. Try the Contour Pillow from Comfort Track. It's anatomically designed to match the natural shape of your neck and head as it aligns and supports. Ordinary and down pillows lose their shape and don't support your neck. Don't do this to your neck. The Contour Pillow comfortably supports your neck so your muscles can relax, reducing strain and allowing you to breathe more freely.
My husband isn't snoring any longer.
I did notice when I woke up after using the Contour Pillow a lack of stiffness in my upper shoulder and neck area.
The Contour Pillow is not available in stores. Doctors and chiropractors sell similar products for $50 and even $60. Get your Contour Pillow for only $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Don't wait until you have discomfort. Order now. Call now to order, and we'll give you this zippered washable cover, a $5 value, free.
Have your credit card ready. Call now. 1-800-772-6600. That's 1-800-772-6600. Or send check or money order to the address on your screen.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Forecast for cities nationwide. Regional forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. A good start to your morning with this morning's weather. 25 and 58 minutes after every hour, between 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern. Only on the Weather Channel.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
Our Michelin trouble spot, of course, will be centered over all of New England for the rest of the Sunday morning through later this afternoon as well. Travel not recommended anywhere across Pennsylvania, New York, and all of New England at this point, because even though some locations aren't looking at any snow at the present hour, like around Boston, which is reporting some rain, or even New York City, where things have really calmed down. Damaging westerly winds are coming back into the picture this afternoon. You'll be looking at some more light snow or flurries, and of course considerably blowing and drifting of the brand new snowfall with those gusty westerly winds. Looks like more snowy traveling conditions right through Sunday night, and by Monday another weaker storm begins to travel across the Plain States. Not a major big deal here, but we're still looking at a good chance of some more light snow developing across Montana and North Dakota over towards Minneapolis, St. Paul. Another big story today is going to be the strong westerly winds coming back into Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. At times here, winds could be gusting better than 50 miles per hour through later this afternoon.
For regional Michelin drivers reports, call the Weather Channel Connection, 1-900-WEATHER.
Let it rain. Let it snow. You've got Michelin's new all-season MXV4. A luxury performance tire with a very special feature. Climate control. Michelin. Because so much is riding on your tires.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you because so much is riding on your tires.
Tracking our very intense storm located right around New York City and beginning to pull northward. Eastern New York State still looking at some tremendous amounts of snowfall coming down with the system. It's snowing at the rate of a couple of inches an hour around Syracuse. There are up to 30 inches of snow from the storm system, several more inches likely during the course of today, as again the storm begins to pull northward. East side of the area, low pressure across eastern Massachusetts. It basically is rain. Boston right now looking at a strong southerly wind. The temperature above 40 degrees and some light rainfall. Just plain cloudy skies around New York City, and not doing too much there at all. Looking at some lighter winds in the vicinity, but watch out this afternoon all the way from New York and up towards Boston. You'll be looking at some damaging westerly winds coming back into the picture, and some of these winds could be downing some power lines and of course some trees. You're going to be looking at extensive damage here when the winds become more westerly this afternoon. They could be gusting anywhere between 50 to 60 miles per hour. And the rest of the country doesn't look nearly as bad this morning. There are some clear skies from Texas on northward. And watch out for more moisture in the far northwest.
Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. Regional conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. Special regional information. The forecast for cities nationwide. Forecast. Your local radar. You're watching the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
And thanks a lot for tuning in to the Weather Channel on this Sunday morning, March the 14th. It is very early. It's 5 o'clock in the east, 2 a.m. in the west. Rick Griffin with you for the next 40 minutes. Well, let's check out current weather We'll go on to the satellite in motion first, and we'll focus on the east this morning, since that's where the record-breaking storm continues. It's moved from, well, central Georgia at this time yesterday morning to eastern Connecticut right now. Massive storm system, which has brought, of course, record snows, record low barometric pressure, and all sorts of hazardous weather conditions to the eastern part of the nation. Syracuse, New York has had 30 inches of snow out of the storm so far. Albany, New York's had 25. That's their third greatest snowfall in history. And we've had some additional amounts like, again, Pittsburgh at 2 feet. Portland, 17 inches, 13 inches at Boston, Massachusetts. LaGuardia, New York City, 11. The same for Philadelphia. Providence, Rhode Island, before the precipitation changed to rain, had 7 inches of wet snow. Here's some additional snowfall totals for you. Chattanooga, Tennessee, the greatest 24-hour snowfall total on record. Asheville, I believe, set a snowfall record, as well as Knoxville, Tennessee. And at Marietta, Georgia, northwest of Atlanta, 9 inches of wind-driven snow on Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. Back to the satellite view we go, and we'll check the satellite briefly and then go to the surface map, show you the positions of the storm center this morning. The low pressure again, eastern Connecticut. North and west of the storm, it's windy and it's snowing. There's actually, though, a little bit of rain on the weather map, too. Believe it or not, coastal southeast Massachusetts, places like Boston have changed from heavy wet snow early last night to rain overnight. Temperatures reaching the upper 30s and low 40s as a little warm air is wrapping around the storm system and coming in off the ocean. There is a mix of rain and snow now at Providence, Rhode Island, and the eastern tip of Long Island in New York State. Also seeing a little bit of mixed precipitation. However, most of it is snow from northern Maine to New Hampshire to central and western Massachusetts to upstate New York. Albany still reporting heavy snow, as well as Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo. Heavy snowfall, snow coming down at 1 to 2 inches per hour. So again, places that have already had 2 feet of snow plus making another ½ foot of snow today as the storm rides up the Hudson Valley into southeastern Canada later on. Now, in addition to the snowfall amounts, we've had some record low air pressures. Let's check out some of those. If you were looking at your home barometer yesterday and it looked like it was broken, it wasn't, because we had record low pressure with this storm at Philadelphia, Richmond, the nation's capital, and on south towards the beginning of the storm in the southeast, Columbia, Augusta, Georgia, 28.65 inches of mercury. If you have a home barometer, it was way down there in the stormy weather section. There's no doubt about that. Pressures, again, fortunately, will be rising across the south this morning. But in the northeast, the pressure continues low, and in addition to that, we have precipitation on radar this morning, which is mainly snow mixed with a little rain, coastal Massachusetts, parts of Rhode Island, and extreme eastern Connecticut. But most of this is snow, and a lot of it is not showing up because we do have, again, heavy snow at Albany in the upper Hudson Valley, and as well in the Mohawk Valley around Rome and Utica, Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo, too. Lighter snow stretched down through Pennsylvania into West Virginia, where snow totals are running up around 30 inches or so in some of the higher mountain locations. Ski areas should have a fabulous day if you can get to the ski area to do some skiing. Fair weather here, quiet weather in comparison. A few snow flurries in South Dakota and Nebraska, western Iowa, but otherwise fair to partly cloudy conditions. And meantime, out in the west, we have some rain from Stockton to Salinas and towards Ontario, California. But that's minor in comparison to what's going on in the east. As far as where the storm's going, let's check it out on the forecast. Here it is, beginning at midday today. Storm center heads up to northern Maine. Behind it, gusty winds up to 60 miles an hour and snow showers and snow squalls. And of course, the newly fallen snow will be blowing and drifting to as high as 10 feet. So that's how deep the snow drifts will be in portions of New York State, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. High pressure builds into the southeast. That means back to sunshine, lighter winds, and warmer temperatures. But watch out overnight tonight as high pressure moves across northern Florida for freeze conditions. A little late in the season for that, and there could be some tender plants in jeopardy over the southeast during the night. Additional rain in the northwest today could total an inch along the Pacific Northwest coast, and snowfall in the northeast might total as much as another foot over northeast Vermont up through western Maine, otherwise 3 to 6 inches of additional accumulation. Highs today, very cold in the east, very mild in the southwest. 50s there tonight, back to the 70s and 80s tomorrow afternoon, while the Great Lakes and Northeast are in the 20s and 30s. We'll look for a moderate, mild day in the south on Tuesday and Wednesday, with a pretty good warm-up Thursday, with 60s reaching Denver, Springfield, and Little Rock in Arkansas. Another little trough of low pressure headed towards the east midweek, but nothing like the storm that's been around the last 24 hours.
It's a law of nature. You bring a kid to a Days Inn, the first thing they do is find the pool. My kids were the same way. Vacations were a big treat. The folks at Days Inn understand. That's why kids 12 and under stay scot-free, so parents can enjoy a comfortable stay with the family without getting soaked when they check out. At over 1,300 Days Inn worldwide, you'll find the best value under the sun.
For Days Inn reservations worldwide, call 1-800-325-2525.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. The regional forecast. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. For the latest winter weather forecasts, cold weather alerts, and wind chill forecasts, tune to the Weather Channel at 48 past the hour for the winter weather update, only on the Weather Channel.
If you can make it to the ski areas today, it will be powder, powder, and more powder. We've had reports of 2 to 3 feet of new snow in the ski areas over the last 24 hours. That includes the southern Appalachian ski areas, East Tennessee, western North Carolina, northeast Georgia, the one ski area there, reporting probably about 2 feet of new snow, and very heavy snows up through West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, and New England. Maybe waist-deep powder in some areas today. These are old reports because Sunday Rivers had more than 3 inches and certainly more than 2 at Killington. Conditions are powder and packed powder. That'll be the case through the weekend. Waterville Valley, Mount Snow, Haystack, and Snowshoe, West Virginia, all in great shape. Now, additional snow today will range from 1 to 3 to 3 to 6 inches, with the heaviest amounts western Maine, northern New Hampshire. Another foot of snow possible there. But in general, the storm is moving out, and snowfall amounts will be tapering off, but the wind and the cold temperatures will persist. Forecast for Monday, quieter day as high pressure moves in. There'll be a little light snow for the Great Lakes ski areas, but the eastern resorts will be partly sunny, while a chance of a little more light precipitation is in the outlook for Tuesday and Tuesday night.
For ski conditions at over 400 other ski areas, call 1-900-WEATHER.
Boy, this time of year, we Sears siding contractors spend a lot more of our days inside than we do outside at installations. That's because people just don't think of making home improvements in the winter. So to keep our crews busy, we're willing to make you a special offer. For a limited time, get special savings of 15%. That's right, you can save 15% on Sears premium vinyl siding if you call right now. Siding that we believe in so much that it comes with a manufacturer's lifetime warranty on all materials backed up by Sears. And you know Sears will always be there to back up this warranty.
So call this toll-free number now for your free in-home estimate. A Sears representative will tell you about our convenient credit plan that translates into low monthly payments. Cash in on our limited time savings of 15%.
Go ahead. Give Sears a call.
Call 1-800-247-7979 for your free in-home estimate. Save 15% during our winter warehouse sale. That's 1-800-247-7979.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
America. You work hard for your money. You deserve a beach. Panama City Beach, Florida. America's travel writers voted Panama City Beach the #1 beach value in the country. Crystal clear water, dazzling sugar white sand, and that warm Florida sunshine. We deliver more fun, more beach for your money. Panama City Beach, Florida. Call 1-800-PC-BEACH.
Panama City Beach is home to the world's most beautiful beaches. Call 1-800-PC-BEACH for information.
And the Florida forecast is sponsored by Panama City Beach, home of the world's most beautiful beach. Well, let's check out the surface map. Even Panama City Beach has been cold and windy the last 24 hours. There was even a little snow or snow flurries in Panama City yesterday. This morning on the surface map, you can see how close the isobars are together, the lines of equal pressure. That's denoting that the winds are still pretty brisk over northwest Florida, in fact, the entire state at this time. Rainfall, we have a little bit to show you because we have some cold air coming down across the relatively warm waters of the eastern part of the Gulf of Mexico, and we're having sort of a Gulf effect in the sense that the cold, dry air is picking up moisture, turning it into making the atmosphere unstable because it's warming the lower levels, and therefore we're having a few showers pop up right here from Sarasota down to Fort Myers. By and large, the forecast today is for sunshine because there is high pressure out in the middle and western Gulf that should be building or moving in during the day. Water temperatures. The water temperatures are a lot warmer than the air temperatures this morning. 61 at Panama City, 73 at Key West, and forecast highs from the 40s to the 60s.
It's getting rave reviews. Business Week calls 1-900-WEATHER tops in the field. Call before you travel. 95 cents a minute, 1-900-WEATHER.
Fancy Feathers Bird Boutique in Sparta invites you to enjoy the beauty and song of our birds. Come in and enjoy hands-on experience with our exotic birds from around the world and the wisdom of our knowledgeable staff. There's a wide variety of exotic birds to choose from. Fancy Feathers Bird Boutique has many gift items for the animal lover. We carry a full line of supplies for all of your pet needs. The love of nature attracted many people of Sussex County. Bring the beauty and song of Fancy Feathers birds into your home.
At Newton Mazda, we believe in that old adage, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to make the customer happy. Things like factory rebates, Newton Mazda discounts, super special lease programs, clean used cars, and an exceptional service and parts department. And the fact that we tied for first in the nation with 100% customer satisfaction in Mazda's perfect delivery program proves it. Newton Mazda, the family people dealership at the intersection of Route 94 and 206 north of Newton.
Watch the 5-Day Business Planner here on the Weather Channel at 20 minutes after every hour. You get a comprehensive national report that covers the forecast over the next 5 days. Watch the 5-Day Business Planner coming up soon on the Weather Channel. Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. regional information. The regional forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
16 years ago, the Viking spacecraft took this amazing picture of the planet Mars. Do you see a face? NASA says you're seeing a trick of light and shadow. Science writer and former NASA consultant Richard C. Hoagland says NASA is hiding the truth. Now, for the first time, see and hear secrets about the existence of extraterrestrial life that have been guarded behind the closed doors of NASA. In the important video, The Monuments of Mars, A Terrestrial Connection. See the amazing similarity between this face on Mars and the ancient Sphinx in Egypt. Learn what connects this part of the Martian landscape called Cydonia and this countryside near England's mysterious Stonehenge. Hear and see other scientific evidence that we have been visited by beings from other worlds. Order The Monuments of Mars, A Terrestrial Connection, a 90-minute video for $19.95. Act now to receive your personal copy.
Weather and Your Health is sponsored by Cyanide Gel Caps, the potency of cyanide in a patented gel cap. Lots of flu around the country. We have widespread outbreaks. Idaho, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Kentucky, Tennessee, just to name a few states. Those will be the ones shaded in red, denoting the widespread outbreaks of the flu bug. Alaska, too. Now, we do have regional outbreaks, the orange-shaded states, Montana, Iowa, Pennsylvania, to name a couple, and regional outbreaks, sporadic outbreaks shaded in yellow. So there are really just a few states that do not have a significant problem with influenza at this time. For instance, Minnesota, Nebraska, and Mississippi. That doesn't mean there hasn't been any flu. It's just the cases have been few and far between compared with the rest of the nation. Pain indices today, they'll be the highest in the northwest and certainly in the northeast with very low air pressure, gusty winds, cold temperatures, and a continuation of snow in many areas. South will be pretty good, be chilly, but high pressure moving in, and that should help you folks out that are affected by weather. As far as the respiratory distress, high east and west, while no air stagnation is in the forecast today.
Now for the Cyanide Society, here's Michael Learned.
Because I have sinus problems just like you, I want you to know about Maximum Strength Cyanide Gel Caps, the most potent pain and pressure reliever in cyanide history, combined with state-of-the-art gel cap technology. So you get powerful sinus relief that's easy to swallow and won't cause drowsiness. It really works for me. And I hurt just like you. Maximum Strength Cyanide Gel Caps, the potency of cyanide in a patented gel cap.
Mothers have learned from countless doctors and pharmacists to take care of coughs with Robitussin. And they've taken this advice home. Robitussin, recommended by Dr. Mom. Ask your doctor or pharmacist.
What do you do when you travel? What do you see when you travel? Then what makes you think the Travel Channel is just travel? The Travel Channel, more than a place to go, it's the place to be.
For more information on the Travel Channel, please call your local cable system.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
21 past the hour on this Sunday morning, March the 14th. Thanks for joining us here on the Weather Channel. Let's check it out. That is this look at the 5-day business planner. Well, we have the record-setting storm departing, heading for the Canadian Maritimes midday today. It'll be exiting out of northern Maine at about lunchtime, but leaving behind strong gusty winds, snow and snow showers from Maine to West Virginia. High pressure fills in over the southeast with sunshine and diminishing winds, but cold temperatures, while the midsection of the country is pretty nice, and the west is pretty wet in the Pacific Northwest down through northern California, and even southern California will have a few showers. Not a real major storm headed into the west, but the high pressure is beginning to break down, and that signals a return to unsettled conditions off and on for the next week or so in the western half of the lower 48. By Monday morning, high pressure moves to the Carolinas, so it should be a very cold morning in the south, and that includes perhaps some damaging freezes across Florida because of the unusually cold nature of this late season outbreak of Arctic air behind the major storm moving up the east coast this morning. Now, high temperatures today. Look at those 30s down to southern Alabama, central Georgia, 20s to the North Georgia mountains. The northeast, New England, New York, single digits and teens, along with those gusty winds, and cold back through the Great Lakes and upper Mississippi Valley. The plateau will have typical weather for mid-March, while the southwest enjoys spring-like 70s and 80s. Overnight tonight, the coldest air, northern New England again, with teens below zero, while it stays in the 50s over the southwest deserts and back into the 70s and 80s in the deserts tomorrow. On Monday, look for a mild day in the plains, 50s to Rapid City, 60s in Denver. We'll look for 70s around Midland and El Paso. In the southeast, temperatures climb back to the 50s, although Atlanta, which is snow-covered, will remain in the 40s and then eventually head back into the 50s about midweek, and perhaps a little change on Thursday. It stays in the 50s, 60s, and 70s over the south. The north, chilly through the week, with no snow melt to speak of in the northeast across the northern plains, and the northwest remaining cool. Now, we don't see any tremendous storms the next couple of days, but we'll have a warm front lifting up through this area Monday. Ahead of it, some snow, and then a low pressure trough digging into the east about midweek. That'll bring us some shower activity and mixed precipitation and a little more snow to the Great Lakes and Mississippi and Tennessee Valley Tuesday and the eastern seaboard on Wednesday. But nothing of the magnitude of the storm that's been with us the last 24 hours. And the west looks kind of unsettled at times, too.
Time magazine called him the master funny man of the age. Now, for the first time ever, the legendary king of comedy and music is captured on video in the best of Victor Borge.
Pardon me, madam, are you laying eggs?
Recorded live, this collector's edition of Priceless Comedy is a must for every Victor Borge fan. It's the incomparable Victor Borge in his best-loved, most heartwarming comedy performance of all time. The best of Victor Borge on VHS is only $19.95 plus $3.95 postage and handling. To order your personal copy, you must act now.
Florida Forecast is sponsored by the Lee Island Coast and State of Florida. Call for free vacationer guides. Let's go on and check out the surface map this morning, which shows high pressure building or intensifying over the western Gulf of Mexico, and eventually high pressure will track into the state of Florida later today and tonight. Unfortunately, for those of you who have growing tender plants out of doors, that means that there's a definite possibility of freezing temperatures for several hours tonight, especially in the northern half of the state. So you'll want to be aware of that. And in fact, this morning it is well below freezing in the Panhandle, with readings in the mid-20s in some cases around Crestview, Tallahassee, and Pensacola. The winds are still brisk as well. Now, some of that cold air is coming down across the Gulf, picking up some moisture, the atmosphere becoming unstable, and we have had at least a few showers forming in the eastern Gulf. And although they're not showing up, Fort Myers has had, there we can see them briefly there, Fort Myers has had a few showers in the last hour or two. No big deal. Most of the state will have sunshine today, with temperatures moderating to the 40s and 50s and 60s.
The reason so many people find great vacation values in Florida is because it's Florida. The reason so many Floridians find the same values on Lee Island coast is because it's Florida's Florida. Lee Island Coast. Everything Florida is, everything Florida was. See Florida, coast to coast to coast. For a free vacationer's guide, call 1-800-533-4753, extension 7.
This report was sponsored by the Lee Island Coast and State of Florida. Call for free vacation guides.
Now for the Cyanide Society, here's Michael Learned.
Because I have sinus problems just like you, I want you to know about maximum strength cyanide gel caps, the most potent pain and pressure reliever in cyanide history, combined with state-of-the-art gel cap technology. So you get powerful sinus relief that's easy to swallow and won't cause drowsiness. It really works for me. And I hurt just like you. Maximum strength cyanide gel caps, the potency of cyanide in a patented gel cap.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
Good morning, Tri-State region. It is 27 past the hour. We still have snow in the area. A high wind warning is in effect for today as the record-setting storm continues to affect the northeastern quarter of the nation, and certainly will have an influence on our weather for this Sunday. How's it looking? Well, we'll get to the forecast in just a second. We'll have radar too, but we'd like to show you the almanac page first. That includes the normals, normal high and low, the records. 75 degrees back in 1946. Wouldn't that be nice? But unfortunately, we are going to be nowhere near that today, obviously. Low, the record low 12, 1888, and we've had 10 to 15 inches of new snow across the area. 21 right now at Central Park, 77% the relative humidity. The winds are strong and gusty, so that's putting the wind chill down there well below zero. Dress for that if you're headed out. Pressure's rising as the storm pulls away and light snow continues to fall. Light snow is in the air across much of the region right now. As a matter of fact, it's 22 at Islip, 26 at Islip, 22 at JFK right now. Also low 20s at Newark and Teterboro, and it's in the teens with light snow up at Newburgh in the Hudson Valley. Well, as the satellite picture shows, a nice swirl of clouds across the northeast. The impressive storm center now is over eastern Connecticut, southeastern sections of Massachusetts, and should track to about northern Maine by midday today. Behind it, we have the backlash moisture. And on radar, we're seeing scattered snow showers around the area. Most of them now are over southern New Jersey, but we have a few here in the tri-state region that'll be blowing through from time to time. Probably not much in the way of accumulation, but perhaps another inch or so today. The main snow accumulations will be farther north in the upstate parts of New York State and over central and northern New England, where another 3 to 6 inches could fall. And in the case of northern Maine, another foot of new snow today. By the way, Syracuse now has picked up over 30 inches of snow for the storm, and Albany has received over 2 feet, one of their heaviest snowfalls on record. And the snows of 20 to 30 inches have been reported from Pennsylvania and West Virginia, too. Now, again, we have some strong winds, so coastal flood warnings remain in effect from Virginia Beach to Eastport, Maine. Tomorrow should be a quieter day as high pressure moves in, and we'll have quite a bit more in the way of sunshine. It'll still be chilly and breezy, but not quite as bad as it's going to be out of doors for this Sunday. We'll look for snow showers off and on, windy and cold, highs in the 20s, clearing, diminishing breezes tonight, single digits and teens. And tomorrow, back to sunshine, a high of 32. Partly sunny Tuesday, and a chance of a little additional rain and snow coming our way on Wednesday.
This is the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate weather forecasts at your convenience 24 hours a day.
And good Sunday morning. You've tuned into the Weather Channel. It is 5:30 in the east and 2:30 in the west. Rick Griffin here with you for a few more minutes, and then Will Annan will be checking in. We're going to be looking at the satellite picture first of all, and what we're looking at here in the east is a record-setting storm system that it started off in the Gulf of Mexico during the day on Saturday. It came up across southern Georgia, moved up through the mid-Atlantic states, as now is parked in southeastern New England. It's brought with it record low air pressures, massive amounts of snow, very strong winds to hurricane force plus over the past couple of days. So this is one of the, if not the biggest storm of the century along the eastern seaboard. We're going to check out some statistics from that system coming up in just a few minutes. Well, okay, we'll look at the snowfall totals now. Syracuse, now we're going to update these as the day goes on because we know that Syracuse has now had 30 inches or more from the storm. Albany's at least 25. That's their third heaviest snowfall on record. Pittsburgh, 2 feet. Boston, 13 inches. It's raining in the Boston area this morning, but it'll change back to snow. Philadelphia, 11. Providence, 7 inches. Chattanooga, 21, the heaviest snowfall total, 24-hour snow on the record books in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Marietta, Georgia, northwest of Atlanta, 9 inches of wind-driven snow early Sunday morning through the late afternoon hours. And even Mobile, Alabama, check that out, right on the Gulf Coast, 2 inches of snow. And I think there were some sketchy reports from Crestview, Florida, in the panhandle of 1 to 2 inches of wet snow early on Saturday morning. Well, let's check out where the storm is right now. It is moving up into New England, and we can, as a matter of fact, get a closer look and find the low-pressure center, which is perhaps just east of Hartford, because in southeast New England, the winds have turned around to the south and southwest, and it has been raining at times in Boston as some mild air comes around the southern side of this low. But north and west of the storm center, the cold temperatures remain, and the snow continues to fly from Caribou to Burlington to Albany, Glens Falls, and Hudson Falls. Heavy snow at Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo. And then the snow lightens up for Pennsylvania, for northern Maryland and Virginia, and down through West Virginia, too. But again, snowfalls through this area have been just massive. 2 to 3 feet of snow has been indicated. Even Mount Mitchell, North Carolina, reported a storm total of 37 inches with snow drifts of 6 to 8 feet on top of the highest mountain east of the Rockies. But of course, we're looking at the northeast right now. Again, low pressure is going to track up to northern Maine later today and then into the Canadian Maritimes. As we go on, check out the radar. We'll see that snow is spotty, but radar again is not picking up all the snow that is falling in upstate New York and western Pennsylvania. There may be a little problem with the radars this morning in respect to there's probably some snow on the dishes and some problems with the radar returning the echo to the radar station and sending it to us. But we'll keep you posted. In the south, the air pressures are rising as the storm pulls away. There's one other statistic I want you to look at in terms of this storm, and that is the record low air pressure that came along with it and the cities that set record low air pressures for this storm. Okay, here we go. Philadelphia, 28.43. Washington, D.C., 28.54. And Augusta, Georgia, 28.65. If you had a home barometer and it was way down in the stormy weather section, it was not broken. This is one of the deepest or strongest storms in history in the eastern part of the country, thus the very low air pressures with it. Back to the maps we go. Let's check out the northern plains. It's quiet here. There are a few snow flurries. West isn't doing too bad either, although there is some rain now around Ontario, up towards Stockton, California, and around Salinas, California, too, and spritzes of rain and snow in the Pacific Northwest. In the west, the moisture will be on the increase over the next couple of days, but no major storms are anticipated at this time. Temperatures. Well, it's 57, pretty nice in San Francisco, 62 at San Diego this morning. It's 39 up at Salt Lake, and 27 degrees at Denver, while it's 8 at Chicago. Bone-chilling, windy 21 in New York City, while it's 25 at the nation's capital, and 19 at Atlanta, Georgia. One of the coldest mornings of the winter so far, and we had to wait until March to get that. It probably will fall a few degrees more during the early morning. 50 at Miami and 42 degrees at Brownsville in southern Texas, of course. Here's the current surface map in terms of temperature, and the forecast map for later today in terms of the weather features, which includes that departing low pressure headed for Maine midday and out into the Canadian Maritimes by this afternoon. Now, while the Maine storm center is heading off the map, the backlash behind it and the general circulation around the storm will create strong winds and occasional snow and snow showers over the northeast. Meantime, the southeast sees high pressure building in, while the west sees an inflow of moisture off the Pacific Ocean, and that means periodic showers through the day into Monday morning. Now, tomorrow will feature a warm-up as a warm front comes into the northern plains and southwest winds develop behind it. The eastern half of the nation will remain chilly under the influence of high pressure, and a very cold morning is expected in Florida with freezes far enough south to produce perhaps some worries for the crops that are growing already down there in late winter. As for the snowfall, well, you melt the snow down, you get a quarter to a tenth of an inch of water out of it. If you just want to measure with a ruler, there could be another foot in northern Maine, but otherwise 3 to 6 inches, and some light snows out in the western mountains in the highest elevations. Coldest temperatures in the east today, the mildest in the southwest. Overnight, same story. Southwest deserts 50s, northeast as low as the teens below zero. Tomorrow's highs, northeast quarter will be wintry. The southwest, mild, and the mild southern temperatures remain Tuesday.
America. You work hard for your money. You deserve a beach. Panama City Beach, Florida. America's travel writers voted Panama City Beach the #1 beach value in the country. Crystal clear water, dazzling sugar white sand, and that warm Florida sunshine. We deliver more fun. More beach for your money. Panama City Beach, Florida. Call 1-800-PC-BEACH.
Panama City Beach is home to the world's most beautiful beaches. Call 1-800-PC-BEACH for information.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. The regional forecast. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. Your local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Now on video, 45 minutes of fast tornado action, plus the 1993 tornado calendar. Just $19.95. Call 1-800-525-6600.
For worry-free driving anywhere in any car, you could take along your personal pit crew, your own nap expert, your own 24-hour emergency dispatcher, even your own tow truck. Or you could carry the Amico Motor Club card. Right now you can try the Amico Motor Club for just $5. You'll get 3 service-packed months plus these free AM/FM headphones. Amico Motor Club gives you toll-free, round-the-clock emergency assistance anywhere in the United States. Valuable travel services, lodging discounts, even lockout protection. Enjoy all this and more and get your money back if you're not absolutely satisfied. Call now. 1-800-538-5775. Get your free AM/FM headphones, your membership kit and card, and even a free additional membership for your spouse or other household member. Call right now for your $5 trial. 1-800-538-5775.
39 past the hour. You've tuned in just in time to see the weekend travel forecast.
Once in your lifetime comes the magic of truly great music. Loved by millions around the world, these are the greatest romantic melodies of our time. Of today's most memorable and relaxing hits. Piano by Candlelight. On 3 cassettes for only $19.99 or 2 compact discs for just $24.99.
To order Piano by Candlelight, use your credit card to call 1-800-648-1700 or send $19.99 for 3 cassettes or $24.99 for 2 compact discs, plus $4 shipping and handling to Piano by Candlelight, P.O. Box 11066, Department 140, Chicago, Illinois, 60611.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. From the Weather Channel, America's primary source for weather information, the Weather Classroom, a complete unit for teaching basic meteorology, climatology, and our environment. The Weather Classroom, an 80-page, fully illustrated textbook workbook with experiments and activities to let students enjoy a hands-on, up-close experience with weather. The Weather Classroom, a regular on-air program with exciting and dramatic examples of weather in action. Find out how you can offer the Weather Classroom to your students. Contact your local cable operator right away. It's not easy knowing how to dress your kids for school every day. Will it rain? Will it storm? Will it be cool? Will it be warm? Don't despair. Dressing your kids for school can be downright elementary when you watch the school day forecast on the Weather Channel. So make it a rule to see us before you see them off. The school day forecast, weekday mornings, 35 minutes after the hour on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to.
If the open road's been calling you, Greyhound's got the answer. Take any trip up to 500 miles for just $49 or less when you buy your ticket 3 days in advance. Every seat, every bus, every day. Greyhound's got great low fares to the places you really want to go. So if you don't want to miss a great deal, don't miss the bus.
We're still tracking a very intense storm system which is located now just to the north of New York City, beginning to pull its way northward. Strong southerly winds ahead of the system causing some very warm weather, mild weather around Boston, Massachusetts, where it continues to rain lightly with a temperature above 40 degrees. Watch out this afternoon for places like New York City and also Providence, Rhode Island, and Boston too, because once the low begins to pull northward, you're going to be looking at some strong westerly winds returning on the backside of the storm system, and you're going to be looking at some incredible winds, 50, 60 miles per hour winds, and we're going to look at power lines beginning to be downed, as well as tree limbs too, so a very wicked situation still to come wind-wise over much of the Northeast. Exactly what is happening right now, we'll show you the radar. We can zoom into the eastern part of the country and much of New England, where it's all snow, looking at some of the heavier snowfall around still coming in over eastern New York, like around Syracuse and Albany. Lighter snowfall is back towards Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but looks like Vermont and New Hampshire, much of Maine, will really look at some tremendous amounts of snowfall as you look at the next, let's say, several hours, right through at least later on this evening. How much snow is falling from this storm system? Check on some of the numbers. Syracuse, New York now is up to 30 inches. Albany another 2 inches during the last hour, 26 inches right there. State College, Pennsylvania, 25. Pittsburgh 24, Boston 13. Looks like more light snow for Boston this afternoon.
Call the Weather Channel Connection, 1-900-WEATHER, before you hit the road, and you'll be prepared for any weather Old Man Winter brings.
At Intercar, the selection of affordable, precision-engineered automobiles seems to go on forever. From Volkswagen Foxes to Eurovans, Audi 90s to V8s, Mercedes 190e 2.3s to 600 SELs, and Porsche 968 Coupes to 911 Turbos. There's always something for every taste and budget at Intercar. Intercar on Route 206 north of Newton is your high-line, low-price leader.
If you live in northwest New Jersey and have a hair loss problem, and are thinking of doing something about it, or are now going to Paramus, Lodi, or Long Island for it, you should have your head examined. Call me today to set up a free consultation. I'll give you a straightforward talk with no slick marketing phrases like rooting and fusing. I can save you travel, time, and money and give you natural-looking hair.
JP Hair Systems now at 2 locations in Sparta and Long Valley.
Accurate and dependable forecasts you can always turn to. And when you're away from your television, the Weather Channel forecast is also available from the following.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Special regional information. The regional forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Now for the Cyanate Society, here's Michael Learned.
Because I have sinus problems just like you, I want you to know about Maximum Strength Cyanate Gel Caps, the most potent pain and pressure reliever in cyanate history, combined with state-of-the-art gel cap technology. So you get powerful sinus relief that's easy to swallow and won't cause drowsiness. It really works for me, and I hurt just like you. Maximum Strength Cyanate Gel Caps, the potency of cyanate in a patented gel cap.
Anybody thirsty? There we go. I had breast cancer and surgery didn't stop it. It became bone cancer. I was 42 years old and I wasn't sure that I'd see 43. I wasn't even sure how many more days like this that I'd get to spend with my grandchildren. What I was sure of is that I wanted a hospital where they didn't rely only on drugs and where they used nutrition to build up the body's own defenses. I came to cancer treatment centers in August of 1989, and what I was searching for, I felt they had. I was right. They always treated me with concern and kindness and never failed to be there for me.
Call us, Cancer Treatment Centers of America, 1-800-365-9233.
They made this day possible, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Looks like some more intense winter-like weather developing throughout much of New England right through later on tonight and also tomorrow. We're checking on what's happening right now. Here's a look at our current weather map. There's our big storm system, which caused some record snows all the way down into the heart of Dixie, Alabama, Georgia. Snow flurries yesterday all the way down into northern Florida. We're looking at some of the most intense snowfall right now as we zoom into the map across eastern New York State. Syracuse, another couple of inches of snowfall during the last hour. It is still coming down at the rate of 1 to 2 inches per hour. Lighter snowfall back towards Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with a couple of feet of snowfall on the ground there. And take a look at the isobars around this storm system right now. Of course, isobars, lines of equal pressure. The tighter they are packed together, the stronger the winds. And we're going to be looking at some very strong winds this afternoon coming back from the west into Boston, New York City, and also Providence. So stand by for some damaging westerly winds here later this afternoon as this storm system begins to pull northward. At least during the last hour or so, the temperatures now begin to drop again despite some southwesterly winds around Boston, Massachusetts. And we're now looking at some rain changing back over to snow and sleet in Boston. Looks like some more snow coming back into your picture for much of the upcoming day and right through at least early this evening. But looks like the big concern now for the eastern seaboard will be the strong gusty winds and blowing snow, which will continue all afternoon long. Otherwise, across the deep south, we're looking at high pressure beginning to build across the eastern Texas coastline into the southeast. Very cold weather this morning. The temperature now at Hartsfield International Airport in Atlanta is down to 19. The wind chill in Atlanta, Georgia, down to -4, down to 20 above. Almost hard to believe in Daytona Beach, Florida. -25 in Pittsburgh, -15 and dropping around New York City, and 8 above, relatively a mild one for Boston, but you too, with those strong westerly winds coming back into the picture and colder temps, we'll be looking at wind chills this afternoon, running anywhere between 15 and about 30 degrees below zero. What has happened with this storm system so far? Where you see the white shading, we're looking at least a foot of snow has fallen, in many locations 2 or 3 feet. Of course, Friday afternoon, the snow was beginning to set up shop over northeastern Alabama. It really came down hard Friday night and Saturday morning in Alabama, into northwestern Georgia, and by sunrise coming down hard in Atlanta. Yesterday it started moving northward, affected Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and also much of New England, including the Boston, New York City areas. Some of the numbers right now: Syracuse, New York is up to 30 inches, State College, Pennsylvania 25 inches and climbing, Pittsburgh 24 officially, Boston 13. You saw some light rain overnight, you're back to light snow. That could add up to another inch or 2 there. You can see around New York City at LaGuardia, 11 inches. Looks like some more lighter snowfall in the forecast today. Heavier snowfall across Maine.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. The regional forecast. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. Your local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. Get a good start to your morning with this morning's weather. 25 and 58 minutes after every hour, between 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern, only on the Weather Channel.
And now it's time for the Michelin Driver's Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
That's okay. We'll check on the Michelin Trouble Spot coming up in just a couple of seconds. But first of all, some of the numbers. Check this out. Syracuse, New York, 30 inches of snowfall. Pittsburgh, 24. Boston, 13. You're back to snow in Boston right now. Looks like some more light to moderate snow showers during the course of the day. So watch out, New England. This is going to be our Michelin Trouble Spot. It actually goes all the way down into northern Alabama and Georgia, where it's going to be a sunny day today in the deep south. But again, we're looking at a deep snow cover, and with some of that melting snow, refreezing tonight. It's going to be a horrendous rush hour tomorrow, all the way from Dixie on northward. And of course, watch out today. Much of the interstates now in Pennsylvania, New York, just about all of northern New England are closed. Stay off the highways. That's the best thing you can do, and stay home, because you're going to end up getting trapped outdoors and it's going to be some very strong winds coming back into the picture too. Blowing and drifting of snowfall is going to be a major concern through later this afternoon. Looking at our snowy travel tonight, mainly across Maine, it's going to diminish rather rapidly throughout much of New England. And here comes yet another fast-moving system across the north. Could bring back some more light snow to, let's say, Bismarck in North Dakota, maybe Minneapolis, St. Paul, and over towards Sierra Nevada, California. But of course, our main concern during the next 12 hours across the east, strong westerly winds this afternoon. They will be damaging, could be gusting better than 50 miles per hour in New York City and Boston, Mass. too.
For regional Michelin drivers reports, call the Weather Channel Connection, 1-900-WEATHER.
Isn't it wonderful? A tire so special, it may last as long as you own your car. The X84. Congratulations, it's a Michelin. Backed by an 80,000-mile treadwear limited warranty. Michelin. Because so much is riding on your tires.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you because so much is riding on your tires.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
Well, good morning, Tri-State. We've seen some horrendous weather during the last 24 hours and much more to come during the next 24 hours. Officially, we're looking at what's happened during the last 24 hours, and we can talk about, well, about 10 inches of snowfall. That's officially at Central Park. A couple of inches of sleet to occur around LaGuardia and on northward, and we're going to be looking at some more rough weather today. Normally this time of the year, around 48 degrees is our high, the low near 33. We're not even going to be even close to that today, at least for the high, and the low temperature, of course, tomorrow morning will be much below normal again. This is what's going on right now in Central Park, a temperature of 21 degrees. We saw the area of low pressure pass right over New York City just a couple of hours ago. Our winds were basically calm at that time. Now we're back to westerly winds at 19, sustained, gusting to 31. They could be gusting better than 40 to 50 miles per hour by later this afternoon from the west and northwest with more light snow in the forecast. Here's the current situation. We're looking at some more light snow flurries around the area. White Plains right now at 21 degrees. JFK is at 22. And back towards the west, we're looking at some lower 20s too. Mainly teens off towards the north. The heavier brunt of the snowstorm right now is over eastern New York, back towards Syracuse and Albany, picking up snow still at the rate of 1 to 2 inches per hour. It looks like the main brunt of the snowstorm now is going to be to our north, but backlash snows with strong west and northwesterly winds will give us a good chance of more snow showers right through this afternoon and early tonight here, with the winds only slowly diminishing late tonight and early morning tomorrow. And even yet tomorrow, we're going to be looking at some breezy weather around the area. Here's a look at the clouds, still very extensive. Our deep storm system right now pulling just to the northeast of New York City itself. You can see to the west of our region. This is where the very intense snowfall rates are still occurring over eastern New York State. Interstate 90, like all the interstates right now, are closed. We're looking at impassable conditions now developing from Maine all the way down to West Virginia, parts of Virginia, and even parts as far south as parts of Georgia and Alabama. It's going to be a rough go today, but of course here, with the snow still coming down hard, it's going to be very, very rough. Also watch out for some coastal flooding. We're looking at coastal flood warnings still in effect. Looks like with strong westerly winds developing as time goes on, these will be dropped to our south. That's some very good news. And by sunrise tomorrow morning, diminishing winds, but still they'll be gusting in from the west at 10 to 25 miles per hour through tomorrow. And our forecast highs this afternoon with some snowflakes around and windy weather. It's going to be a chilly one, everybody below freezing, and forecast lows tomorrow morning dropping in some cases to the single numbers.
You're watching the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.